And it was at this moment he realized it had messed up.
Like and subscribe. What are you doing? Do it now.
Alright, so I wanted to show you a little bit of before and after on the front and back of the property. It's been a while since I've had this footage, and I was thinking about getting it edited, and just to be honest, with multiple cameras, it's a lot more work than with one camera. You're piecing them together, you're timing them, making everything line up right and look right and transition right, and
loading them up.
Yeah, and I just I don't know, man. Looking at this one, I was like, I knew it was going to be a massive undertaking before I sped up the film, or I don't know. There were the job took us about, I want to say, 2 or 3 hours, and so obviously I've got that times 2, and in the beginning I had a third camera rolling, so 3 cameras, and you're talking about a lot of footage to link and sync up together. So, all that said, I'm glad I finally got it done for you. And, you don't edit, so, or more than likely you're not editing videos, so you could care less about that. But I'm going to tell you, I almost think that editing the video took as long as doing the damn job. So let's go ahead and do some voiceover. I got Rachel here with me tonight.
Hey guys and girls.
And make sure you speak up, because that means it's a good microphone. We upgraded the microphone a while back. A few of our viewers told us our microphone sucked, and I gotta say I agree with them. And not only that, I will say another problem I have is I don't have too good of speakers in the office, and I'm half deaf in one of my ears. I don't know. I think it comes down to edging, to be honest. That's something to think about with your equipment. Is when I edge, I've got the Weedeater right by my ear, and I did that for several years. Look at the size of that worm. Something to keep in mind is hearing protection and stuff like that, and I never took it serious, and to be honest, I still don't. My hearing protection's most of the time throwing in headphones and blaring music louder than the equipment, but obviously not the best result.
You don't do that as much now, though, do you? Because now you got rid of Pandora, and now you've got, all you really have is Audible, right?
No, I really haven't listened to too many audiobooks this year. Oh. I've been mostly Pandora, jamming out with some music, trying to switching up the. Well, you go through phases where I'll binge on books and stuff and just go really in depth, or maybe it's YouTube videos with long guys, and if I do hear somebody talking about business or something that I like and it's on a YouTube video, I'll just let their channel play. Like I've done that with like Forever Self-Employed and
Florida Turf, isn't that?
Yeah, I like Florida Turf Pro's cool. I like Black Fork Lawn and Snow. Yeah, Jesse's cool. Yeah, it really reminds me of how I started with his channel, so I really like watching that. He's so optimistic. Yeah, he is, and I was pretty optimistic at that time period. And when you're starting out and you got no money, you got to be optimistic because you don't have money backing you, and most of the time, everybody else is looking at you like you're going to fail until you prove it to them otherwise. And even if they don't look at you like you're going to fail, you think they're looking at you like you're going to fail. So, you got this, you're just starting under the gun. You're, got that mental head trap. You're broke. You feel like you're broken at that point. But yeah, I really like Jesse's channel. He's a cool dude. There's several of them that I like watching, though. And I find more and more every day because of our channel and people commenting. So, if you do comment on our channel, just know that I'm probably going to check you out. And I will subscribe. And, I'll click the notification bell. YouTube doesn't do a real good job of actually showing you the videos, even if you do that. But that kind of is what it is. Now, as you guys saw in the beginning of this, we'll go ahead and talk about the job some, since we're just kind of rambling. The vacuum had catastrophic failure. So we're in the middle of figuring out what route we're going to take on that. And I guess there's a couple different options. One's kicking it old school, using tarps and the mowers and mulching it up. we do a lot of in-town lots like this, and that's cool. But when you're done, you got to be able to put it into your truck or trailer. And if you're mulching it up, you're dragging your mowers with you. And I like using my mowers. And you can mulch a lot of leaves and turn them into nothing. But, you know, if you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you've seen the type of cleanups I do. And they're ridiculous sometimes.
Well, we don't want to go backwards.
No, I don't. You know, you make
ways from...
Well, when you do that stuff and you're moving a lot of tarps, you put a lot of wear and tear on your body. And we do move the tarps, but we're dragging them out to the curb line like this, and then we're pulling them and just to the truck, and then we're sucking it up. The vacuum's doing the work, loading it for us, and it's a lot less physically damaging on your body than trying to drag it in the trailer into the truck, because you're trying to lift a 3 or 4. So one of the other factors is the amount of jobs we can do in a day. So, you know, just the volume of work. We're working a considerable distance from our dumping site. And so, you know, when you got to think, you got to stop, and it takes an hour to drive to the dump, and then you've got, oh, it went down. Anyways, he's got to do some troubleshooting.
He looked up at it like, ah.
You know, it happens. I can't be mad at him. I've been, rigging it up and keeping it going and keeping it alive, but I knew that thing was on its way out. So we've been planning, we've been forecasting it and thinking about it. So, the amount of workload that we can get done, because, you know, for us, our leaf season is a big season extension for us going into the winter. You know, it keeps the workflow going, and sometimes it's the only thing we've got going for winter. And every now and then we get like a random job, and we're like, oh man, thank you, we needed that to pay bills. So, you know, it's not as bad as it used to be, but man, sometimes it gets tight in the winter.
Yeah, when you brought on the first leaf vac that you rigged up, it was a game changer.
Yeah, well, this is it. That's the
original one.
Yeah, well, it's not the original engine, but yeah, that's it.
Right.
And it's toast. Look at that.
Oh my gosh, it's
The
so
blades
hard
have been
to
at
see.
a 90.
That thing is hardcore. That thing went through a good season. That's all my baby's handyman work.
Well, you know, we paid $300 for it at a pawn shop. Used it for about 2 years. The engine finally went out.
The blades?
No. Do you remember?
That was the one that came from your.
No. Do you remember we were getting a tire put on your car, an oil change or something, and they were throwing some junk away behind this tire shop down on the corner.
Uh-huh.
And they were throwing some junk away, and it was a parking lot blower, an old parking lot blower. And I said, "Hey, what are you guys doing with that?" "Oh, we're just taking it to the dump." And I said, "Well, how much do you want for it?" "Oh, you can have it for $5. So I gave him $5, and I took the blade. And that's the metal blade that you saw in there, because the Cyclone rigs, that's the type of vacuum that was. They had a rubber blade. And that lasted about 2 weeks of use, and then blade came off, and I knew it wasn't going to last long.
And then we had to go.
And then I was trying to figure out what to do, and I was like, well, I could use that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then so we got 2 years out of that engine, and then we ended up buying an engine from Northern Tools. I think it's about 13 or 14 horsepower. So, considering that's lasted about another 2 years, I think we did all right. We got our money's worth out of that thing.
Yeah.
That's not bad. I mean, we've had to rig it up here and there. Kind of, this last year we had to Band-Aid it quite a bit.
Yeah, there was a video of you doing it with JP Weld.
No, it was, we took a piece of metal and caulking and duct tape.
That's right.
Hey, it worked.
It did.
It worked.
Heck yeah, it got us through. I mean, yeah, it worked beautifully.
You know what it made me
And
think
that
of?
was a huge job that day, too.
It made me think of Pirates of the Caribbean. Stop blowing holes in my ship. But, it's just part of what it is. Sometimes you're just keeping it going. We weren't wanting to invest in a leaf vac yet. Now we're at the point where we're deciding whether we want to buy a new one. Do we want to buy a used one? I'm probably going to go for a used one, just so you guys know. That's kind of how I roll. If I can find something that's in good condition. I'm going to look at one tomorrow, by the way. If I can find one that's in a good condition, I know that piece of equipment is going to last me quite a while. Now let's go ahead and talk about this wild and crazy overgrown yard. Because it's ridiculous. This one's not as bad as some of them I've done. well, really a lot of them. But I will say this was a very, very, very common occurrence in my first couple of years. And I was using push mowers for it. And, man, it was miserable. Like, this was
charging like what?
Well, like
maybe $50 to $100.
$35, $50.
To do this
like
kind
this
of a cleanup. Oh my god.
Yeah, so we had the one. Do you remember that rental property? We had 3 of them in our first year. There were times I would show up and it was every bit as bad as this, but it was like crabgrass and thick, nasty stuff. And it was the whole lawn. I'd show up like this. She wanted it every 10 days, but then we would get like rain and stuff. So it would end up at like 2-3 weeks. One time it was like at a month from all the rain that we had. The first year we started up, we got almost as much rain as we did last year. And last year we had significant flooding. So like it was just a crazy year to start up and not have real good equipment to stay caught up. And then on top of that, I had a bunch of 10-day lawns, which were an absolute pain.
Oh my gosh.
My billing sucked. I had bi-weeklies, and my scheduling sucked. Trying to figure out how to keep up with everything was just a nightmare.
No,
so yeah, I mowed a lot of these.
It would take like almost a month to get paid for the previous month. And we'd have to bill her all at once. And
do you remember that? This is way back. Do you remember that riding lawnmower I bought for like $300? You remember that? I bought it when we first started out, and we went over to this neighborhood across from us, and so I ended up buying it for like $300. It was like an old Murray or something, and
was it blue?
I think so. Blue or red? I don't remember. Okay. But we bought it, and I thought for sure, like I'm like this will make our life easy with some of those type of lawns, because I knew I was going to run into some stuff like this. And I think I got to do one leaf cleanup with it, which was cool. It worked good. And on the leaf cleanup, the blades were old, so I bent the blade on like a root that I hit. And everything seemed so catastrophic back then. Like whenever I had like a mess up, I was like, oh my god. Like back then, like I've always been mechanically inclined, but I wasn't familiar with mowers and stuff. So like I didn't even know what do I do to take these blades off? Like I didn't know if there's something special or anything like that. Like it wasn't familiar territory. And now it all seems so easy, but
yeah,
it's because
it's so
you
weird
learn from all the hard times.
When you bring up these pieces of equipment, like even the leaf blower thing, like when I picture that, I sound so stupid when I'm saying it, but the body of it, the green part of it, not the blades,
housing.
but the housing. Thank you. When I think of that, I think of that leaf, the push one that we have out in the yard, and I feel like it came from Grandpa. But I don't remember.
Yeah, the leaf
vacuum. Okay,
so
it's so crazy to think about all the equipment from back then.
Yeah, so what she's talking about is we have like a leaf vacuum that you would walk behind in a yard, and I mean it's cool, but it never really found a place in my setup. I tried it a few times, and it just didn't work real well. It worked good for like backyards, but at the time I had already gotten our leaf loader, and I found that it was just easier for me to use the leaf loader or put it on the tarps and drag it up to the leaf loader. So, if I hadn't had the leaf loader, it would have been great on my. So I would have just used that walk behind vacuum and then taken the bag and dumped it into the back of the truck bed, and that would have worked pretty good. But yeah, because of the timing and the other equipment we got, it just seemed to not fit as well, so we didn't end up using it. I actually was going to sell it to a buddy, and then he ended up not doing a bunch of leaf removals, and it ended up back at my house. So yeah, if you're in the area and you're looking for a leaf vac, it could probably be good for you. It all depends on your setup. But that Murray, I think it was a Murray.
Murray.
Yeah. Hey, Murray.
Yeah. That's I was trying to remember which one it was. Murray.
Right.
So cool. Sorry.
So, can't stay on track with this woman. So that mower, it was our first year. It was back when Jared was working with us. And we were on the highway, and we're driving out to one of those rental properties. Because the woman that I did the rental properties for, she had... I can't remember where they... Okay, so one was like in kind of a midtown nice area. We call it Brookside here. It was kind of a pretty nice area. And the yard wasn't bad, but it was all crabgrass in the back. The first year cutting it, it was great. Second year, one of the tenants got a dog, and there were holes that my whole push mower would just drop off into, and you wouldn't know they were there because the crabgrass would hide them by the time you come.
Hold up. I thought that it was the Toro mower that he went over the stump on, because we had just bought
no,
that
that's
push
something
mower.
different.
Oh,
so
okay.
no, that wasn't Jared. Jared didn't take out that one. That was Jeremiah.
No, when we lived on Riverside, we had just bought those two Toros, the two Toro push mowers, and that was like a big deal. And you guys were doing a property, and we had it for a little bit, but you guys went over a tree stump, and it...
No, that was my 48. I bent the spindle on my... I broke the spindle on my 48.
we had one Toro. We had those two...
You're thinking a rock in a backyard with Jeremiah. That's why I quit push mowing.
I'm talking about on Riverside. I remember you guys coming home, and one of you guys had gone over the tree stump with the Toro push mower. I remember it because that was like, it was a very clear, distinctive day with those mowers.
I don't know. I went through a lot of push mowers.
Yeah, that's true. But I guess that was just...
And there's one thing I've got to say about pretty much all push mowers. They all suck.
Yeah, they do. They absolutely do.
If you like push mowing, that's your thing. I don't like replacing mowers all the time. And even if you get a commercial mower, it's just...
They can handle shit.
I mean, for the price of a commercial mower, you can buy a good used, larger mower.
Yeah.
I just go that route. So anyways, this Murray mower is the first larger mower that I bought, and it was a riding mower. I didn't really know anything about commercial mowers or zero turns or anything at the time when I bought it. And we're on the highway in my old rickety trailer. I haven't shown you guys that, I don't think. But my trailer had plywood walls on it, and it was a tilt trailer that was bolted down, and then the bolt broke, and it had baling wire holding it for like the last 6 months that I had it. But before I had the gate on, I just strapped that mower in, and I thought it was good enough. And Jared was like, "Is that good enough?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's good. It's not going anywhere." And it's strapped. I didn't think it was going anywhere. That little thing wiggled its way loose. Yeah, and it went loose on the highway. So luckily there was nobody around me. But by the time I got turned around on the highway, it was gone.
It was gone.
Yeah, somebody picked it up. So, talk about a stress-filled anxiety day when you spend all your money that you had during the winter. You thought it was going to be this great investment for you, and now you got to go home and tell your wife it's gone. So, and even if I would have gotten it back, it fell off on the highway. It was probably pretty jacked up. So, there's always these crazy events. Now, I will say with my trailer, I haven't had a mower drop off or anything crazy really happened in a long time. Stuff does happen, though. Things will happen. Try to be very conscious, because the fact is somebody could have been behind me, and it could have killed somebody. So, definitely be careful.
And from that,
I'm very cautious now. Yeah.
Conscious.
It may not look like it with jobs like this when we're cutting down all this crazy stuff and I'm loading it up on the trailer. It may not look like it, but we tie everything down really well. My first year when we were doing tree limb stuff, it wasn't an uncommon thing for me to have tree limbs falling out of my truck and trailer. So I learned real quick how to strap everything down and make sure it's, what's going to actually stay and what won't, and, how to stack it so things won't fly out. Because you'll be surprised. You'll think it's in there good, and nope. So, so that's a crazy mower story I had there. After that, my next commercial mower was a 48-inch Honda walk-behind, and it was a commercial unit, and that was a really awesome mower. Mm-hmm. And that was one, I don't know if I cut that out or not, but when I was talking about, I hit a tree stump and I broke a spindle. And I guess we're kind of getting into talking about kind of war stories with breakdowns. And I was
going to say, tree stumps have not been friendly.
No. So I hit a tree stump and I just clipped it with the blade, and I didn't know it was there. It was like my first time cutting it, and it was a bi-weekly lawn. By the way, your equipment really gets abused on bi-weekly lawns, so people are like, yeah, bi-weekly lawns are great. Yeah, you're going to save a lot of money when you cut them out. So, we're doing this kind of crazy cleanup. This is, we've turned this client into a weekly client. We don't really generally do this type of work anymore. We used to do it all the time. We don't really do it that much anymore.
And if you
Now,
do it, it's because you're doing it on your terms as far as
we get paid
card
really
on
well
file.
when we do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know in some areas, because I get told this when I talk about weekly versus bi-weekly, I know in some areas you guys cut bi-weekly and stuff, and that's what you have to do in Florida. And you know, the seasonality of the business, that's the way it goes. So in the spring, you're going to have more growth, or, you know, it starts out slow. You get really heavy growth in certain times of the year, and then it slows back down. If you ramp up and ramp down, that's fine. But, you know, because I kind of do that. I'll ramp up and ramp down, you know, depending on the amount of growth. We will slow back down to a bi-weekly, but it's like as we're transitioning into leaf season or as we're transitioning into mowing season. So, you know, I do understand that. But during the height of the season when it's growing, they're weekly.
Yep.
And that's the way it is because, you know, you got to contend with rain. You got to contend with breakdowns. You got to contend with, you know, all this stuff that just randomly comes up because things will happen.
We literally are based off of weather.
Yeah.
I mean, and we don't ever know what the weather's going to be, and we go, I mean, we go with that. But by saying weekly, it's for our area, we prepare the customer for that.
We get good clients that way.
Exactly. And, you know, for a month or two of the year, we actually are full weekly. And that's because, you know, weather is, you know, as it says it's going to be. But, I mean, it varies. Yeah.
So during the rain season, you know, we might have a week that we have to completely skip.
Uh-huh.
Well, then they weren't a true weekly lawn. We might have a week we skip because everything's burning up because it's drying out.
And
it
he's
wasn't
a
true
he's
weekly
a lawn
lawn.
care man, and he doesn't want to hurt that grass.
Yeah, but, you know, we say we're weekly. We prepare them for that. We let them know, hey, if for any reason there's a delay, we're going to let you know why. And, you know.
And they love that.
We let them know.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's one of those things. That's how we kind of handle it. But we do understand there's regional differences all over. Wherever you're at, it's going to be a little bit different. Grass types are different. Weather's different. You know, the type of economy you live in. Say, you know, my microeconomy might be completely different than somebody else's microeconomy 2 hours away. So, you know, the type of clients you service might be completely different than mine. So I'm trying to service, and we have a large variety. Whenever you're in an urban area, kind of like I am, you have a large variety from the people that can afford weekly service and they get their lawns treated and they do this and that. And then you have the people that can only afford every 2 weeks. And, you know, a lot of fixed income type of clients. And that's totally cool. Do whatever you have to do to make your business work and your business thrive. To be honest, in my first couple of years when I was cutting these lawns every 2 weeks, I just didn't know any better. You know, I mean, I knew people had weekly lawns, but I didn't know how they were getting them. And because I cut them all the time, it didn't really bother me any. And if I would have been charging accordingly, it really wouldn't have bothered me any. So,
well, and here too, and because I've also lived here longer and I've seen it, and I saw it growing up too, but a lot of people, a lot of homeowners actually mow their lawns more than once a week.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what is common here, and our bi-weekly customers here where we are, just to clarify that, they would be calling Kev.
They would be calling me every week.
Yeah.
So I would get a call at like
they would be
6 to 7 days, and they'd want to know why their lawn hadn't been cut yet.
Never be satisfied, and he would try and tell them over and over again, you know, it's because it's been this many days. And seriously, it would never go past, like, it was 10 days max on these bi-weekly lawns when they were, you know,
they'd start calling, and I'd say, well, you're not due for another 4 days. Do you want to go on weekly schedule?
It would not go past, like, 10 days all the time. That was the max. But they normally called about 8 or 9 days. Because I always remember it was always those customers calling at that certain, you know, within that time frame. And it's like, why are you guys calling? Like, you want it every 2 weeks, but it always
as I started
turned out bad for you, which is...
Well, yeah, because they started complaining. They weren't happy with it.
Always complaining, yeah.
So, you know, it's one of those things. You will get rid of the headache clients. When we transition from weekly to from bi-weekly to doing weeklies only, you know, there was a transition period where I started kind of testing the waters, seeing how people react, and then I went 100%. But I did keep a couple of them for a little bit longer because they were like these clients that I've had for a long time, and I didn't know how I was going to tell them. Even though I told my other clients, they were like the ones that they give you this they just mess with your mind, and they may not even be trying to. It's just you have a hard time talking to them for some reason. For some reason, you cower down with whatever it is, and you just can't tell them, yeah, we're going weekly, or we're doing this, or we're doing that, or we got to have a price increase, or no, I can't cut your lawn that's, should be a $60 lawn at $35 anymore.
And some of them do also mess with your mind on purpose.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that you will evolve as a person, and you'll get a little better with it. So, yeah, I think that's just about there. We're just about done. We hit the front lawn here. We enjoyed kind of talking about what we went through, and if you enjoyed it and you want Rachel on here some more, let us know. And, we just kind of just rambled. We didn't really talk about the job. It was a tall lawn. You guys have seen it. It's cleanup. We have some cleanups coming down the pipeline, some more videos of them. Like I said, I normally don't do these type of jobs very often anymore. So, we're doing a little...
I love that he's not. It's...
Yeah, I do too. So we're doing a little bit of them for like YouTube, and then the other things like with the COVID thing, we're just trying to keep busy a little bit. But, it's not really... Not really, I'm not going to say it's not my forte. We can clean up property and make it look real good, but it's not what I enjoy doing anymore. I enjoy going out and cutting and moving on and getting to the next one, or, like a landscape projects. I really like doing landscape projects, mulch installation, something like that. It's more rewarding. So these are rewarding, but they make you feel tired. Here's the other thing is, I have my mower in this trailer, and you're going to see how much stuff is in the trailer here in a minute, but this kind of job will shut down the day. So when we did this was the only job we did that day, and we planned on only hitting this job that day. So it was a little half day of work, but say I was mowing other lawns, I would have to do this at the end of the day after mowing all the lawns, and I was already tired, and you're getting in the heat of the day, and that's when you're doing it all. Or I'd have to go home, drop my equipment off, or whatever. It's just, it's not practical to, go out and mow lawns every day and do this stuff. All right, Rachel, we're at the end of this video. What's the phrase of the day?
I got it. The phrase of the day. Make sure to strap it in.
All right, there you go. The phrase of the day. Make sure you strap it in. Let us know you made it this far in the video. All right, our setup is completely full. Truck bed and trailer. Hanging out the back a little bit. We'll get that before we leave. All right, we've got some more gumballs to clean up, but other than that, it's looking pretty sharp, and I'm not disappointed. Okay, so the backyard's looking much better. We gave it 2 passes with the mower. Weed eated twice. We cut a lot out. We still have a lot more to cut. That'll be in the second wave whenever she wants to go ahead with that. While I am here for the next mowing service, I'm going to be doing an estimate for painting her house as well. If you don't know that, I have a painting company as well. And you can see, well, this house needs some TLC. Just a little bit of loving and it'll look good again. But overall, the yard's back to looking in shape. Not great, but in shape. And after about 3 or 4 cuts, it'll look real good. So that's one thing that you need to let your client know when you're servicing a property like this, is that it's going to take 3 or 4 cuts to make it look good again. 1, the grass is going to yellow up, but 2, it's just going to be messy. You know what I mean? Lumpy and clumpy and looking ugly, and a couple passes will make it look good, but it's not going to look great. Okay, a lot of the grass that you can't tell is there is going to dry up and it's going to look ugly. But we're going to come back again and disperse it, and after a few cuts it's going to look awesome.
Hey, thank y'all for taking the time to watch our video, and if you like it, please give us a thumbs up, and please subscribe and hit that cute little bell for more videos. Thank you again.